This segment is the most upsetting segment I've ever reported on in my decades of doing this. Candace Owens has gone completely nuts and is now claiming in a hellaciously vicious show she just put out that Jewish prisoners weren't tortured in the concentration camps and there were no experiments performed on them. And you're going to hear my family's story and my request for Candace to call me to get educated, because what she's saying is so incredibly wrong and vicious and hurtful on top of that. Shame on you. This story I'm about to present is maybe the most upsetting story I think I've ever been involved in my decades political commentary. Candace Owens is a political social commentator. She has her own podcast. She was let go a couple months ago from the Daily Wire over her anti-Jewish rhetoric. But now she's gone stark raving wacko. I don't know what else to say. This is her, very, very famous, very bright, intelligence-wise, and if there was a poster child for ignorance, this is it. She has just released a podcast, I saw it last night, where she called the torturing experiments performed on Jewish prisoners in the concentration camps as bizarre propaganda. She said that some of the stories to her sound absurd. She said, why would the Nazis cut people in half? Why would they torture people? It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no real documentation.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I'm like, the idea that they just like cut a human up and then sewed them back together. Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies. Just slice a person in half and sew them together. That just sounds like bizarre propaganda. But
Candace, you're a liar. You're an ignorant liar. There are over 15,000 documentaries on just the torture of the prisoners in these camps. Some of them survived. About a quarter of them actually lived to tell their story on camera of what happened to them and who did it. She has literally lost her mind and gone full-blown Nazi. The reason I take it so personally is my parents were there. My mother was a nurse at Auschwitz with no medical supplies, doing her best to keep alive the people that Joseph Mengele, the most infamous of the Nazi torturers, performed on inmates. There are thousands and thousands of videos available on YouTube. It is the most documented crime in human history. When General Eisenhower saw the camps, he commanded the army photographers and videographers to take film and pictures because he said someday people will come along and say this didn't happen. That day is now. And this ignorant person, I'm making an invitation. Candace, we've communicated in the past. Reach out. I will get you educated. I will get you the information. I want you to know that what you said was wrong and horrible and despicable and insulting to the memories of people like my family, my immediate family that were there. I can't believe the poison that she's been infected with. I don't understand it. And you, as a young man with your pop who was in the army, you were in Germany.
Yeah, I lived in Germany 3 different times. My mother, she loved it there. And we went there 3 different times. And I'll never forget when I was there at my youngest age, we were going like on a tour and we went by one of these camps that they turned into like in a museum. And I remember seeing the barbed wire because I thought it was like this. They said it was used during World War II. Is what they were explaining to us. That's all I remember because we didn't go inside of it. They just showed, we saw it from outside of it. And they held Jews in there, what they were telling us. And they were, giving us the story about this monster, Hitler. So for Candace Owens to come out and say that it didn't even happen, she's not the first one to say this, and I'm pretty sure you're aware of this. But there's been other people that's been saying this. And for me being there, seeing, put it like this. I was there and I saw it firsthand. Why in the world would Germany have a camp showing a barbed wire saying this is where they held Jews. If they don't want that history to be part of their nation, don't you think they would have destroyed it? I mean, look what the Democrats are doing here in America. They destroyed the statues. They want to get rid of Abraham Lincoln. Everyone, all of the statues that remind us, what the past was like, they want to get rid of it so they can rewrite history. They wouldn't have that there if it wasn't true. They kept it there because they don't want to repeat history. We need to have our history right in front of our faces so that we don't repeat it. But then you get Candace Owens. I haven't seen the video clip. I haven't watched Candace Owens in a while. It's been a good minute since I've watched her. I don't, be honest with you, I never did watch her religiously, or just, if I just happen to see a clip, I will see it. But for the most part, I don't ever see her stuff any longer. Had you not told me about it, I would have never known, because I don't watch her like that.
Well, the condemnations are pouring in from around the world. It's the most documented crime in human history.
You know what? Let me ask.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of videos.
I wonder, does she have like a end game or a goal for her lying this way? Because come on, we all admit that she's highly intelligent. She has to know the truth here. So is she upset because of what happened with the Daily Wire? Right? Is that the reason why? And you know what? Isn't it interesting too? Because just yesterday, what is his name? Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro. Thank you. I don't know why I can't remember. Ben Shapiro's on Capitol Hill, and he's just hammering these idiots on Capitol Hill, doing a fantastic job. And then today she does this. Is it possible that she's doing this because she's bitter with him? Is it possible she's doing this because everybody I saw the videos with him, Ben Shapiro. I saw the videos with him going viral everywhere, but I'm not seeing anything on her. So she does this. I guess she's trying to do this to try to deflect, bring attention off of what he did. He did a phenomenal job, if you ask me.
I don't know what's in somebody's head. I just judge based on what somebody does. Imagine.
But it's no coincidence that she did it today after Ben Shapiro's being there in Capitol Hill yesterday.
It could be. Imagine this as a black man. If I brought you a video that said, all this slavery reparations is BS. There was never slavery.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Show me somebody that was there. and you'd go, there were millions of slaves. I'm a descendant of slaves. and I said, no, Will, you're full of it. I mean, you in about 2 minutes would be so angry to deny the history, the horrible history of slavery. This is mass murder against a specific people, the likes of which the world has never seen before, and God willing will never see again. To deny the biggest, most horrific mass murder in human history is vicious and mean and ignorant. Or maybe it's not ignorance, as you just suggested. Maybe it's intentional. And if you remember, before they let her go, she was starting to say stuff like supporting Kanye with all of his anti-Semitism, and being a big fan of what he was saying, and it didn't go well. And the head of the Daily Wire is an ex-pastor, Christian pastor, and he was offended. Ben Shapiro didn't fire her. The CEO of Daily Wire did.
But to my understanding, she's targeting him, saying that he's the reason why she's no longer there. That's one thing that I heard.
We don't know.
And I think what she's doing is another blanket statement, trying to say that it never even happened, trying to blame Jewish people and try to say that they're making up a lie when she knows the truth. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that she doesn't know, and she's only doing this because she's bitter. And it's not cool. I mean, it's not cool. You actually show yourself when you're angry and you do stuff like she's doing. You're really showing who you are. You're actually showing your character.
You're a great psychologist. and you know what? It could be you're right. I don't know. But like I said, I judge people by what they do. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words, right? Yeah. Right now, Candace, call Barry. I'm easy to find. Let me get you educated. This hate has got to stop.